Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you happen to watch my latest video where I covered all the activities of the recent meetup in East Tennessee, sponsored by the Locker Room guys and Mary and myself, you might have noticed that I did show the panel for the question and answer period, but then nothing else. The reason why I did that was because the video was getting long to begin with. The original video was almost an hour, and the footage for the Q&A ran about 40 minutes. So I thought that I just would include that panel discussion in a separate video, which is what you will see now, because it did have some good content, some good information, and you might see some of your favorite YouTubers. It was a star-studded cast hosted by Ben, and it included Alex the Beard King Picker, Jimmy Old School Flips, Stuart from Franklin Hill Adventures, Rebel from Rebel Reseller, our own Mary, Libby from Consignment Chats, Michelle from Tree Cat, and Brian from Jack's Treasures. Scott the Bearded Picker did come in a little later. He was late, so he didn't appear initially when they all introduced themselves. But I think it had some good points, and I did want to, include this as a standalone video because it was informative, and I think that people will get something out of it. So I, again, decided to just include this in its entirety. So I hope you enjoy it. Stand by. So it's night 2 of the East Tennesse Meetup. And we're about ready to get started. We're at the lodge, and the first order of business is the Q&A. Those are our Q's, the A's. They will provide the answers. And there's Ben, our host, giving this nice little backside shot and talking to the panel. All right, once you start, I'll turn the camera back on.
All right, good evening, resellers. How we doing? Welcome back to the lodge. First thing we're going to do tonight, we'll kick this thing off here with our panelists, and they're going to be handed the mic. They're going to tell you guys who they are, what they specialize in, and then you, the audience, you can raise your hand and we'll call on you to ask the question of any panelist. If you have multiple questions for different ones, you can do that as well. So we wanted to have a bit of education involved in this meetup. So now's the time when they tell you what they do. If you have questions, raise your hand up and ask the panelists that. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
I specialize in selling books, mostly on eBay, but a little bit on Amazon and as well Etsy.
My name is Jimmy, Old School Flips. I guess kind of toys are my expertise. 80s toys, 90s toys.
Mr. Modesty.
I'm Stuart with Franklin Hill Ventures and pretty much sell anything under the vintage and antique umbrella. I have 3 antique booths, sell a bunch online. Also do the private label jams and jellies and back. So.
My name is Rebel, and I've been selling on eBay for 26 years. My specialty, I think, would be vintage plush, but I sell a lot of everything. I do have a YouTube channel. It is the Rebel Reseller, so go ahead and subscribe. I talk a lot about the stuff that I sell, so.
My name is Mary McQueen. I'm part of Metco Meetups, and I actually only sell on Poshmark and Mercari. And my favorite things to sell are baby blankets and sheet sets. And I do want to shout out Stuart over there. He does have some of his items for sale back there on that table. So I wanted to make sure we shouted that out.
Yeah. Hey,
Hi, my name is Libby. I am 1/3 of Consignment Chats. Molly's over there. And I have sold as a full-time reseller for 13 years, starting in a brick and mortar, and now I'm solely online, and I will sell just about anything, including Molly's office chair that she was using at the moment. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I've been selling on eBay since 2002. I sell women's plus-size intimates, bras, and shapewear, and I also have a cross-listing company called TreeCat.io.
Hi, I'm Brian and very shy. I guess my specialty would be Whatnot selling. We're everything sellers on Whatnot, but we do sell on all other platforms.
I'm so awesome. Brother, I know that. I'm just kidding. All right, raise your hands, folks. We got a diverse amount of subjects that we can cover with these fine people. Anybody have questions, raise your hand. Come on, participation. We gotta have that, right? Questions.
We got one on the panel,
Brian?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And the antique booths, how do you figure out your pricing system?
So it's pretty similar to selling online. I mean, I try to do comps. So first off, I mean, in my antique booths, I mean, there's some crossover between what I sell online and antique booths, but it also gives me a great outlet for things like furniture and artwork. I sell a lot of records in my booth, and it's really just either. I mean, I do look at other people's booths to get an idea of things, but really it's just looking online and comping things just like anything else I sell, you know, whether it's furniture. You know, like I found an Ethan Allen table today at a thrift shop, paid $15. It looks like I can sell that for $160 to $200. So I'll probably put it closer to $200 in the booth, knowing that we run sales occasionally or people always want to make offers. So.
Great answer. Love it. Love it. Wow.
Questions? Go ahead and shout it out there.
Okay, do you guys have any advice on how to separate your personal time from work time to make sure that you take a break? Any ideas?
What is a break?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
What's that too?
All right, I am the worst person in the world, the most imbalanced person. But so coming from me, this really works. Is you got a time block, and you got to put it on your schedule. If you're having family dinner, you have to put it on your schedule. If you're having a date night, you got to put it on your schedule. And that seems to work because you'll listen to that. You won't listen to the voice in your head that says you really need a break. So now the trick is all you have to do is put it on your schedule. Okay, that's it. It's that simple. Put it on there. 15 minutes. You know what? I'm going to go have a cup of coffee. I'm going to walk the dog. I'm just going to stare at the wall because I'm really tired and burnt out. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I've started doing recently is I work in sprints. So I'll hit it hard, and I'll just do a bunch of listings, cross listings, and then I'll have to slow that down because I have to do a bunch of shipping. So I say work in sprints is my big mantra right now.
Anybody else on the
I have a question for what you just said.
Okay.
It has a couple of layers, but
Yes.
Kevin likes to say list at least one thing every day. And I think I have success with that, but then, so I've kind of tried to get in a habit of making a lot of drafts, like having the push. And then maybe at least try to have 20 to 30 that I can spread out over 7 days. So maybe some days I list 10, 15, or some days I list 1. What's the difference if you list 1 item or 15 a day?
A difference in terms of sales?
As an algorithm. I mean, nobody knows the algorithm, but I'm just experience, you know, what is people's experience, I guess. When you push really hard and then when you pull back, and then you push really hard and then you pull back.
I mean, that's just what works for me right now because I'm pulling so many different.
Well, and that's exactly it. I try to find my other hats and have a day.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we're on the same page. I just didn't know if you had better luck on the days where you push harder.
Any of the panelists want to add to it?
So one thing I do is I track how many listings I do every day and then how many items I sell every day. And what I've seen, I mean, tracking this for 2 years, it seems like no matter how little or how much I list, I always sell about 80% over a 7-day period of the things I've listed. So it sounds very obvious, but the more you list, the more you sell. But that's, to me, pretty solid proof that, you know, if you're listing, you're gonna sell something close to in proportion to what you're listing. So.
I definitely represent like the no rhyme or reason to my day. I mean, I think that represents a lot of us. One thing I changed that I do is I get up, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I list 5 items. Like I get up and I list 5 items. So that way if the day kind of goes awry and end up doing family stuff or whatever stuff, I still feel like I accomplished something very productive that day, and that's got those listings done. So that's the only thing I would recommend for sure doing is start off your day by getting that done, getting out of the way. So at the end of the day, you're not like, man, I didn't get any listings done today. Like you got it done right away, you're done. And then you can go out to dinner, or you can go to that baseball game or whatever.
Let's go. Rebel, I want you to share your.
I think really consistency is the most important thing. Whatever you're doing, you know, there's some days I list 10, there's some days I list 30, but I think eBay likes to see you active, answering your questions as often as, you know, as quickly as you can, accepting those offers or counter offering them as soon as you can, sending out offers.
That's good, because I'm doing all that.
Every morning, I'm like them. I list probably 15 every morning, first thing. I do my end and sell similars every morning. I send out offers, I start my sales, everything before my day gets going. And I'm the worst. I have to make myself go in my bedroom and walk away from computers, because we have computers in almost every room of our house, so that I won't work. So, you know, I'm not a good time management person.
You want to add to that?
Live selling is a little bit different than static listing, because live selling happens at all times. You can schedule it at all times. So a bit of advice for anybody that does live selling, if you're going to do it, be consistent on the day and the time that you do that, and realize that you're going to have the shipping time afterwards and the prep time beforehand. But selling in itself is very fluid. So just try to take an hour or 2 hours out of your day and say, hey, this time is my time. It's one thing that we do.
All right, other questions?
Great question, by the way. Sorry.
Buck.
Yeah, a question for you. Now, when you're talking about you're listing 5 items or 10 items, whatever that may be, are you photographing those items and listing them, and giving your diagram of them, everything, the whole 9 yards? Or are you photographing them, may be a silly question, are you photographing them beforehand and then doing the rest of the listing? How do you work that? How are you working that?
Yeah, that's a personal preference. Why don't we have everybody answer that one, right? We do that.
Well, for me, I don't do as much listing on eBay and static listings, but when I do, I take the pictures and I do everything at the same time. I don't set up tracks. But I don't have like a goal of listing 5 or 10 items a day. Mine's generally listing about 5 items a week, just to keep them active and things like that. So they're going to give you better answers than I will.
So I just actually had my daughter and her husband come and help me with photos, and we did a photograph big of like 564 photos. So I love doing the photos, and then having that, you know, to work on just throughout the week, you know. So I really like batching things up. That's just how I like to do it. But you know, everybody does it at their own way, I think, and make it work for how it works for you.
So I have somebody that does my photography, so sometimes I have, you know, a couple thousand photos, you know, backlogged, and then I process the rest of the listing. And so that's how I do it. So it depends. Sometimes there's sometimes there's only a couple day backlog, sometimes there's a month backlog of photos, but it is like compartmentalized like that and done in steps.
Yeah, Scott the Beard Picker. Sorry, I can't tell time.
You are wearing an Alabama shirt.
Man, the hell I thought this. What the hell you put me through with this shirt today? I tried to get a deal at the flea market. He's like, Alabama shirt? I'm gonna charge you double. I'm like, come on, dude. So my life is completely different. So many of y'all heard of List Easier. I think Kevin talks about it. I'm on a podcast with Josh, who's one of the 4 owners, and I've built a second store, and in the last 2 months, 7 weeks, I've put up 2,000 listings on that store. I struggle to do 5 a day. So I made a business specifically for that. But the other thing I do is, with my ADHD and all my craziness, if I can get pictures on the phone, I can list from the phone, because I can do I try to get the pictures done so that even after dinner, when I worked all day, I've done my shipping and everything, and I'm like, man, I really like to take advantage of these 2 or 3 hours. If you've got pictures on my phone, photo room can take the thing, and I can list from the phone. So I think it's very individual if you know yourself and know your tendencies. I know at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, I'm 56, I'll start shutting down. But if I get pictures on the phone, it's much easier to finish and get a couple extra hours work. So you can squeeze in extra time while you're still doing it. My lovely wife has a lot of doctor's appointments, and so when she had a broken ankle last year, I really used this. So it took a year recovery, so she couldn't how long were you without weight bearing? Like 4 months?
3.5 months.
So that's every doctor's appointment. So I knew that what day we were going, so I'd take a bunch of pictures. So she'd be with the doctor, and I'd be sitting in the waiting room doing eBay listings. So I think you got to learn how to take advantage of yourself and your time. So the lister is crazy amazing. It's just a couple pictures of CDs or DVDs or books, right, Alex? Yeah, books. But that's been a game changer. But it's also learning myself and learning how to take advantage. And I think that's an individual thing that each one of you has to learn is because the phone allows me to go, if I got pictures, I can finish the listing. Whereas if I'm outside trying to do it, I end up so lost. I end up with pictures on a computer, I end up with whatever, I end up halfway through it and never accomplish anything. But the phone is one at a time, I get them done. And so it's really perfect. Awesome.
Thank you.
I just changed up my process. I used to log everything into spreadsheets, and I realized that was just a time waster. I mean, that's been 25 years. So this year, I bulk batch my photos. I'll take 5 or 10 at a time, and then I line them up, and then I go to my desktop, and I make the listing all the way through, and then I go back to my phone and just load the photos directly. And I keep everything in drafts, and I just pile them up. But I'm the type that I'll probably do 40, 50, 60 a day, so that's a ton of pictures. But it's stuffed animals, it's fun. You just flip them around and take 7, 8, 10 photos. And, we have somebody who takes pictures for us for clothes. So the clothes, I just download her photos and I run them through this Perfectly AI generator, and then I just put them all in drafts also.
One more thing. So I did a video live the other day, and I was talking about a program called Local Send. So many people have like an iPhone but a PC. They don't match up. You can't airdrop those because there's not as many Mac computers out there. I have all Mac. But if you're struggling with how to get pictures off your phone to your computer, Local Send is a free program. You just run it on both of them. It works just like AirDrop for you. So you can AirDrop Apple to PC. You can drop Apple to Android. Whatever it is, it's Local Send. It's free. It is a game changer if you're struggling with SD cards and all that crazy mess. Where if you want to use your phone and then drop them to your computer. I challenge you to check out that program. I've had a bunch of comments in the video about saying, I didn't know about this. This program really has made it much more streamlined in my process. So it's called Local Send.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, like Rebel also use List Perfectly, and I usually do 3 listings at a time. I'll take all my pictures directly into the List Perfectly catalog, and then just go to my computer and they're already there. Then I do a combination of List Perfectly's AI and ChatGPT, and kind of choose the best of both worlds. Because I use ChatGPT for my pricing assistance. It runs comps for me and does a pretty good job. I mean, I still have to use some common sense, but that works very well for me. I don't ever have to upload them to my computer. They just magically appear in the List Perfectly catalog. And I would encourage, there's any number of cross-posting software platforms out there. I think rather than dwelling on which one you use, just cross-posting, it was a game changer for me going full-time. My sales have increased 25 to 30% year over year for the last probably 3 or 4 years, and I attribute a lot of that to cross-posting. And then also just diversification, I always try to pull in one new revenue stream every year. And, whether it was my private labeling or any booths or adding a new booth or adding a new platform. But, yeah, just cross-posting was a game changer for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, this is all about processes, like, and coming up with your different stages and stations where you work. I say I list 5 in the morning. I make sure my processes before that are all set up. I have a production background, so I have a photo area, I have a testing area, a cleaning area. But I only list on eBay, so I don't cross list, I don't use any tools. And I usually can list 20 to 25 a day as long. But I always have pictures preloaded, so that when I am working and the days that I'm not trying, feeling like not getting anything done, when I'm down in the basement, it's all like subject, like I have a nice big basement where I can have those stages set up. When I'm down there, I'm getting that production done. I'm cleaning, I'm picturing. So at all times, I usually have like 100 pictures in my phone ready for me to list. And when I see that bank getting low, it's time to refill it. So having your process set up is very important.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't do the list 10 a day. I actually set a goal amount of how much new inventory I want to hit every day, and that is at least $500 of new books every day, up to $700. And I won't go to bed until that is done. That's just how I have it set up. But I do use AI List Easier. Code, I don't have one. Same. You got the same code, right?
Beards are fraud, that code? Yeah, that's it. I got the same code.
Beards are what?
Frauds.
Oh, frauds.
I just make up one for.
So I just do all the pictures, airdrop them to my computer, and run them through List Easier. And I can get, I still do all the back-end work and checking all the sold comps. But I make sure every day I hit that $500 to $700 a day. And then my day is over once I hit that goal.
Thank you.
All right.
Great question.
Yeah. What other questions we got? Go ahead, sir.
Right, we got a YouTube question. I know not all of you are YouTube content creators, so this won't apply to everybody on the panel. But in talking to people who do YouTube, especially when you're not, super monetized, you're like a Kevin or a Kat, and you're making thousands of dollars off every video. My question is really, in your mind, how do you sort of justify the amount of time that you spend making the videos, editing them, getting them published, versus, let's just say it's an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, versus spending that time creating listings? Like, how do you sort of justify being a smaller YouTube creator versus having a reselling business? It's almost like you're running 2 businesses, but one of them kind of eats the time that the other one needs. So
that's a great question. Who wants to handle that one?
Because I've been there. Old School Flips is my YouTube channel. I actually, a couple years ago, I stepped back and because I was not having a lot of success, and I just kind of reevaluated everything. And when I came back, I wanted to consider like a hobby. So I came into it like, I'm not gonna worry about the monetization. I'm not gonna worry about making a lot of money on here. I just want to have fun at it, but I want to be the best I can at my hobby. Like a lot of people that are hobbyists or musicians or whatever, they want to be, even if they're not great at it, they still want to be the best they can be at it, right? So that's how I approach it, and it was way more fun. So like now, I want to be a good editor, and I want to have good content. I want to not to yard sales. I want to have fun talking to the people and stuff like that. So I really changed the way I approach it, and it helped me so much. And I'm still not doing great over there, but it's still, I enjoy it now. It's like a hobby instead of like all the pressure. Oh, I need to make money. Like no, I just have fun.
I don't really have it. My YouTube channel is just set up as a non-profit organization. Does that make anything?
Thanks.
My channel does okay. I haven't been growing as much as I thought I would. And this year I've been doing it 5 years, right? 4 years. And this year I've decided I'm gonna back off a little. You have to decide what's working. Like I was doing 2 and 3 haul videos a week. And then I was doing 2 what sold videos a week. And the haul videos just weren't drawing as much. This is my mentality on it. It's, I can pick whatever I want, right? It doesn't mean it's gonna sell, and it might not be interesting to you guys, but my sold videos do very, very well. And then we started a picking channel. I'm the worst, because when I go to a yard sale or an estate sale, I'm there to source. I'm not there to make sure my camera's pointed in the right direction. And I would have that camera, you know, pointed straight down, or the stuff was right here, or it was up here. It was the worst experience ever, and we decided no more picking videos, and we just do a live show on there every week to answer people's questions, and that's actually starting to work better for us, so.
All right, so I have a unique position. I've been both. I've been the large and now I'm the small. And even though I've got large numbers, I decided a couple years ago that my introverted self, you wouldn't know it from me being here, but I am. I'm a reseller. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't want that kind of pressure. Many of y'all probably don't realize I strapped a GoPro on myself in 17. All these people that are doing all this, because my introverted self stuck one on a yard sale. They're just better at it than I am, and that's okay. But I do a live show because of relationships. I've met so many people on YouTube, just like all you guys out here, wonderful people, and such good friends over at the table. And I've known Jacob for years, Mr. Amish for years now, and so my circle is, because reselling is so hard to locally to have people involved. I'm lucky I have that too. Harlan's a great friend, but it's not everybody has that. So it's relationships now. So I do a live show. I did make a video Friday morning about a local thrift store because the manager there was complaining that she'd been in a bad light. And I'm like, I can make a video and people can see around town. I'll put your name on it. So, but it's hard to justify the YouTube if you don't love it. If you don't, I give Kevin a hard time, but he's really good at it, and he's got the personality for it. I just don't, and so I teach, I answer questions. I do one serious live show and then one live show fun on Friday night. But even then, you can't take it too serious because Wednesday I had an opportunity to go get stuff, and I do a 2-hour live show, and I'm like, guys, I got to cut this short an hour. I'm not making any money here, and I need an hour on the road. I can make $5,000 going to pick up this stuff, or I can sit here where you guys make $10. And so you have to be real with yourself and understand that sometimes you have to make sacrifices. YouTube it's fun and it's nice and everything, but you got my buddy Grumpy John, who's on the show. If you ever watch my show, Grumpy John, he's a character, but he'll tell you if you don't take care of the 80%, you're gonna be out of business. And the 80% is reselling. I'm just straight up reselling, so it's a decision I made, and to see YouTube money is, not everybody's gonna see it. It's a hard road.
So I never did any reseller content until I formed TreeCat, and it's become a necessity, right, for a brand. So for any of you that are resellers that have a brand is important. And what I think is important is to find ways to automate your time spent doing social media. Social media is a grind, so and YouTube can be a grind. And so I'm a big proponent of automation, obviously, but I use products like Opus Clip. I use products like Metricool to cross-post to, Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. So I would suggest looking into some automation products. And I think it's important to have a brand and make time for this, but try to find ways to make it more efficient.
So I have a little bit different perspective on YouTube. We have a relatively small channel with consignment chats. However, I use it more as a marketing tool and a community building tool to enhance our mission, which is to educate other resellers and help coach them, to build their businesses. So I look at it more as a marketing tool, so I don't feel like the time invested is necessarily taking away from my reseller business. It's adding to the other business, which is the mission is to coach other resellers and help them build strong businesses. So marketing tool, yeah, different.
Mine's completely selfish. Okay? My YouTube channel is out there so that I can learn more. So we interview people so that we can learn from them. And I don't even care about the monetization part. That's not even in our future. I don't want to do that. I don't want any of the pressure of doing that. But it's fun to do when I get to meet all of these people and say, I want to have that on the podcast. I want to have you on the podcast. I want to have you on the podcast. so that I can learn your stories. And to me, that's the funnest part. Because when you do eBay, because I did eBay for years before I ever did any live reselling whatsoever, it's lonely and it's an island and you're by yourself. And I wasn't part of any community whatsoever. I didn't even know there was a community. I didn't know there was YouTube. Tracy tried to tell me about it, and I was like, no, I don't want none of that stuff. It's all boring. I don't even want to know about it. And then I get into it, and it's like, holy Schneiders, man, this thing is fun. And that's the main thing that we get out of our YouTube channel. You know, it's like that. Which is Jack Treasures on YouTube, by the way. Okay, give us a follow, please.
Chris.
Not necessarily YouTube, but I've heard, so I wonder if anybody that does this or confirm it. Do y'all get anything off of Facebook Reels? Is there anything to be made in those? Because what I'm saying is, okay, while you're making a YouTube short, when blast at the Facebook Reels and all this, that, and the other, make 4 or 5 things out of the same content. Is there money in that too? Because I don't know. I'm just asking this.
I don't do Facebook. I started a page, but I'm not a social media person. But I know Facebook, from everybody I've talked to, pays more than any of the rest of the platforms. And so that's why so many people, that's why every morning I show up, Kevin asks a question, I'm like, dude, get off my Facebook page. It pays more than anybody else. And so if you're gonna do this and build a brand and all the things and be serious about it, you can't ignore Facebook, because if you can get, okay, so it's a different audience than YouTube, but the same things work. And so you've got to build the same audience, you're just building it twice at the same time. But they pay more than anybody else. That's the key with Facebook. That's why so many people try Facebook.
Jimmy, don't you do TikTok?
Yeah, I do TikTok, but I just recently had a lot of success on Facebook. I basically went viral over that. I didn't know what I did, but I had in the last 90 days, I hit over 7 million views on there. And so to answer the question directly, yes. And they're short videos, 15-second videos, and they pay very well when you get that many views on it. And then an important thing was even a picture. You load a picture up there, you get people to interact with it and look at that picture. That picture will pay you as well. I had a picture that did really well. That just putting that one picture of something sitting on a shelf in Goodwill paid me over $90 just posting it there. So I mean, now since then it's died. I don't know what I did wrong, but anyways, there's definitely, Scott's not lying. There's potential, and I didn't even know it. Someone told me, hey, you're already monetized on Facebook. Start putting stuff on there, and I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah, nobody talks about Facebook, and TikTok pays the least. So everybody, it's the easiest platform to post.
Yeah.
They pay the least. Facebook by far pays the most.
For example, I had a viral video on TikTok that hit for 2.5 million. I didn't make a dime off that video. I don't know what I did wrong, but I didn't make any money. And then Facebook, I'm like, it paid really well for that 90 days.
It's because you probably didn't have over $10,000 on TikTok. I mean, 10,000 followers on TikTok.
It put me over. You're right.
And so one other thing about Facebook, I mean, I'm not monetized anywhere. I would be the very definition of a very small YouTube channel, but I do post a lot of content on my Franklin Hill Ventures Facebook page, and it directly leads to a lot of sales. I'll post pictures from my booth or things I have listed, and especially booth, I'll have people reach out to me, hey, how much is that so-and-so on that shelf? And I've shipped things to other states, based on people reaching out to me. So not directly monetized, but I'm still getting money, I guess, indirectly from Facebook. So.
Is that on a personal account or on a business account?
It's a business Facebook page.
Okay,
So.
but you have it attached to yourself?
Yeah, it's attached to my Stuart White Facebook page. So.
Jim.
So there's obviously some times when we've got to be pedal to the metal. I gotta buy. But what are some times for you where you go, the discipline has to kick in and go, I've got to put the red light on, I've got to put the brakes on. It could be your time, inventory. I'm really not talking about a budget like, oh, I got $500 to spend on this trip. But I mean, what are some times when you really I've got to put the brake on so I don't overspend and so that I don't, lose, and lose profit.
Yeah, and one thing I track in addition to profits, my cash flow. So as long as I'm cash flowing, I never stop buying. I I mean, as Amy can attest to. But, I mean, as long as I make a concerted effort to get things listed, there's always times, I mean, I'll get multiple calls a week from people whose grandmother died or whatever, that they want me to come look at stuff. And I'm never gonna turn down an opportunity to get inventory, because you never know when something like a COVID's gonna hit. So having that rainy day inventory, you know, whether you call it a death pile or money mountains, right? As long as I'm cash flowing, I'm fine with continuing.
I hear that, but I'm talking about red light. At what point do you kind of go, I gotta put red light on?
I guess, from my standpoint, is, I guess if I wasn't cash flowing, then
There you
I
go.
would consider putting the red light on, but.
Jeff, you can't,
you know,
put the
so-
red light on when you come in my whatnot show too. All right.
Thank you, Franklin, yeah.
What's red light?
So,
Red
you
light
can't
is,
walk
I
into my
can't
living
spend
room
right
anymore,
now.
Jeff.
I have
put
to
the red
pause
light
my
on.
spending until whatever else catches up.
Yeah.
Or my inventory goes down or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was just saying, when you can't walk into my house anymore without tripping over a box of books, I should
Yeah.
probably slow down. So anytime after I do a big clean out of like 45 boxes of books, I know I don't need to source anymore, right? There's no reason for me to go out and waste more money. I need to get what I already have in my house listed. So we have to make that a priority to get what we already bought, right? Our death pile listed before we go out and source again. Which I know is hard, because everyone, that's the best part about this job, right? Is going shopping.
And I actually with Brian would probably be better at this than me. I've just started selling live sales on Dividend.com. That changed everything. Like that cut the mic, he said did. That changed everything for me though. Like I don't see that red. I don't even see the yellow light anymore. Like I can go to some like older stale inventory or stuff that, you know, if I got it for cheap, that's my rule right now. If I picked it up at a really good price, I'll just take it there, and to my buyers that I'm so thankful to come and buy from me. It brings cash in right away. It gets stuff out the door right away.
So your answer is, I've gotta do more shows, so I'm moving stuff, which you're already doing.
Let's talk to Brian about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Brian's doing a similar thing.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
My red light is when they stop making storage buildings. I can always get another one. It's hard to pass for an opportunity, so I was telling the guys, I'm like, I'm not sourcing at all next week, but there's no way I pass up the opportunity to do yard sales and stuff here, because there'll be different products. And even this morning, I'm like, I'm not buying anything but this. But look at the van full. It happens. But, so I'm limiting myself next week, but it's a disease. I've told people that from the beginning. Don't start unless you're prepared to deal with the disease. I didn't struggle in COVID because I've got backstock. I've got 3 storage units, just whatever. It's part of doing business.
You come by naturally though.
I am mother, oh Lord.
So we have a book club, C-Chat's book club, and we've done an amazing book. It's called Profit First. So I don't know if you guys have heard of this. It's a book by Mike Michalowicz, but it's pretty amazing. It's a cash management system, and how it basically works is it'll give you the red light, because the more money you bring in, a percentage of that, let's say you make, $5,000 this week, let's say you decide what percentage goes into your spending account, maybe 10%, right? So you have that money in your spending account and you know how much you have to spend. So it kind of is cyclical, right? You want to build that account up, you want to make more sales, you want to do more listings, and when the money's gone in your sourcing account, that's your red light. So if you haven't checked that book out, it's pretty amazing.
What was the name of it?
Profit First, it's by Mike Michalowicz.
Yeah, we, on the podcast, that was one of the books I read last year, first of the month. It's really good. No question.
Well, one of the biggest things that I have to put the brakes on is when I don't have any more space to have a show, because I have boxes of storage and I buy storage units, so that's where I get a lot of my inventory from. And as Jimmy said, live selling has been a game changer for me, because I can get rid of that inventory super fast. I mean, lightning fast. I know exactly where it's gonna go. If it doesn't sell, it's gone. But when I don't have the space and the storage units, which I had 3 at one time, but buying storage units, you have to have the space to be able to process that unit. And it is a disease, as Scott said. You see everything and you start seeing profit in everything, but you don't realize the time and the effort and paying yourself. You have to pay yourself first. That's like very, very important. And when you start looking at things and you say, dang, I made like $3 an hour. Okay, that's not the route to take. So put the brakes on that particular thing, which is one of the reasons why we stopped doing some certain things. But it's really you. What's gonna stop, what should your break be? For me, it's definitely space, and when Tracy tells me to stop buying. Yeah, which she says that a lot. Because I'll say, should we get this? No. Gotcha. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
This is gonna sound bad, but it's really not as bad as it sounds.
Oh, that's okay.
Do you
She's married to
consider
me.
paying yourself using the money for an upcoming bill that you got on items that you just sold within like 3-4 days?
I'm sorry, say
paying,
it.
that's paying yourself, right?
Yeah, what I mean by paying myself.
But I'm not, it's gone already, right?
Okay.
That's a responsibility in my eyes. That's not really, but it's paying yourself.
I'm sorry, I could hear like partially of what you were saying.
Say it again.
I consider, because a lot of right now is I'm just trying to make enough, at $200, $300, $400 extra right now. Well, growing is obviously the hope, but I'm making enough right now to supplement Walgreens because I don't make quite enough for Walgreens. But I'm not really. It would sure be nice if I could go, buy something $20 for myself. It's not there yet. But so do you consider that I'm paying myself, or it's still? But it's really not because it's going to responsibilities that would come from a full time. I told you you might take it differently, and other people might take it differently.
Well, I have to take it differently because I don't have another job.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
I did teach for a lot of years, for 18 years, as a matter of fact. And I did the reselling that way. With reselling, a lot of people will forget that when you're looking at profit, you have to look at all of the aspects of the profit. How much time did you put into the listing? Easy Listings helping that. It's getting you up those items up ahead.